Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. I'm your host JJ, and I'm here with Sergey. Right? That's what I say. And today we're gonna be bringing back an oldie but a goldie. We're playing The Onion or Not The Onion. If you want to play this at home as well, which is to say, well, I mean, you can guess along, but also, if you want to play this with someone else, you can go to reddit.com/r/theonion plus not the onion, and then, which is just to say that you can combine multiple subreddits with connected by pluses, and they will, in fact, generate a custom feed. Why can't I hear you?
What the heck?
Ah, there you go. Hey, Sergey's here.
What? I haven't changed anything.
Ah, yes. So,
technology.
This is fun, right? Because we had the problem with your camera sometimes freezing during the podcast, and you said you fixed it, and immediately as we start recording, you have audio issues. Because, of course, these can never go smoothly. So, all that is to say, Sergey, Kentucky Bill would make it a crime to insult a police officer. The Onion or not the Onion?
Probably the Onion, because I assume that is already a crime, isn't it?
See, that's what surprised me about this as well. It's, in fact, not the Onion. And I also kind of figured, I'm pretty sure, like, other places that's already criminal, so it's not, like, that surprising. I mean, I think it's, by the way, I think it's stupid, like, either insulting people is illegal or it's not, right? I don't think police officers should get special treatment, especially in that category, right? Like, I'm sure, I mean, like, certain advantages and disadvantages they need to maybe have to be able to do their jobs, but, like, insulted? Like, ugh.
I don't know.
Bugs Bunny explains how LeBron helped him get sober for the role in Space Jam sequel.
I don't know, man. Can you read that again?
Bugs Bunny explains how LeBron helped him get sober for role in Space Jam sequel. That is a sequel to the movie Space Jam. That's how that works.
I guess that. I don't know. Really specific? But so usually that is not the Onion?
Is that what you're going with?
I don't know, man. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna go with not the Onion.
It is the Onion, and I thought it was way too obvious because Bugs Bunny is a fictional character. Like, what the fuck?
Yes. No, but like the voice actor behind them?
I suppose. I feel like The Onion has gotten a lot less interesting since Trump left office, by the way. Because, like, back then, they could publish pretty much any bullshit, like, oh yeah, Trump did this, Trump did that, and it's like, I don't know if this is satire. And, like, they'll post, like, oh yeah, like, Trump did this really ridiculous thing, and, like, next week it's on r/not The Onion because it actually happened, right? Like, anyways.
It's great.
Catholic group against bill that would allow child sex abuse victims to sue at any time.
I don't know, man. Probably not the Onion. I my word processing just doesn't work.
Unfortunately, it is in fact not the Onion, because of course it isn't. Ron Johnson forces reading of 628-page Senate coronavirus relief bill on floor.
My parents just came in. So I'm recording.
Sergey's getting his Joker.
So I don't know. Probably The Onion. Is that The Onion?
No, it's not The Onion.
Hopefully it is.
That actually happened. They have to
Okay.
read out the entire bill. It's gonna take 10 hours. Aged 118, the world's oldest living person will carry the Olympic flame in Japan.
I can see that happening. Probably true. Like that. I don't think that's not as a. I mean, that's probably not The Onion. That's what I meant to say.
That is in fact not The Onion. That is actually true. Yeah. I had to quickly double check that the numbers lined up as well. But yeah, I mean that's a real headline. But yeah, I checked, and what is her name? Kane Tanaka or something? Kana Tanaki, something like that. Is in fact still the oldest living person in the world, and she is in fact by now 118. So yeah, there is that. Matt Damon lowers cameo fee to $15 in hopes of getting more hits.
I'm not processing sentences right now.
Matt Damon lowers cameo fee to $15 in hopes of getting more hits.
Okay.
Matt Damon is an actor. Cameo is a website. I think that's what it's talking about. I mean, Cameo is also a concept of appearing in a movie in the background, but I assume it's talking about the website.
Okay. I don't know, man. I have nothing to go off of. Probably not The Onion because it's really specific.
It is.
But that's
The Onion.
Okay. I don't know. I'm.
Disney announces next movie will feature a princess with never before seen ethnicity.
What ethnicities did they have?
That's I mean, most of the Disney princesses have been white. There was Tatiana, I think is her name, from the one with the frog. She was black. Pocahontas, I think, counts as a Disney princess. She was Native American. There was recently like a Pacific Islander one, Moana. There.
I mean, it would make sense for them to do so.
Mulan was Asian, of course.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that. Actually, freaking Jasmine was Middle Eastern. Dude, it's hard to come up with all the Disney princesses right offhand.
I know. So yeah, it wouldn't be too out of the line, but I don't know. Probably not The Onion, though.
It is The Onion, and I'm not certain whether Never Before Seen is supposed to reference, like, as in, like, no one has ever seen this ethnicity, as in they made it up, or as in it just hasn't happened in a Disney movie. I don't know. I haven't read the article. But, yeah.
This is hard.
This is surprisingly hard for you. Honestly, I feel like these used to be harder when Trump was in office, where, like, there literally was no difference between the Onion headlines and the real headlines, except for, like, details. A Texas school scraps assignment that had girls, in quotes, obey any reasonable request of a male.
I hope it's The Onion, but I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. It's not. I don't know about what you hope, right? What is it?
Boy, probably not The Onion.
It is not The Onion. Also, the next post in this sort of by heart is actually Texas schools chivalry assignment told girls to dress to please men, which is of course also not The Onion. That is just this. It's basically the same headline, but like 11 hours. Well, actually, it says one day. It's like about a day older. So they put out the assignment, got huge amounts of backlash, and then just withdrew it because they got huge amounts of backlash. Court adjourned when defendant and witness are found giving testimony in the same house.
Not The Onion?
It's not The Onion, indeed. There someone reposted the other school assignment one that I just talked about. By the way, there was also recently, I don't think it's in here, so I'm just going to mention this, a case where a surgeon had to appear in front of the court for like a traffic ticket, and he appeared while in surgery. So, because they're doing like all their court business over Zoom, right? So he called in to his court case while he was performing surgery. Well, while surgery was being performed and he was in the surgical theater, there was another doctor there that was currently actually operating on the patient. He was like, aside, but still, right? That's weird, right?
Really, really weird and also potentially dangerous.
Yeah, that is exactly what the judge said, and he was like, we'll reschedule this. The judge was like, I don't think this is good for the safety of the patient. I'm gonna see if we can reschedule this. So yeah, that was it's actually fascinating. I know I'm getting sidetracked a little bit here, but like the crazy things that happen in like digital courtrooms, right? Like since they adopted Zoom as like their main technology for doing court sessions, like all sorts of fun stuff has happened. I talked about the lawyer kitten before. Now there's like
I'm
a guy
not a
doing
cat.
surgery. Yeah. And of course constantly people like showing up like and like the side of their pool, or like like I think it was one lawyer who showed up in bed, like he was literally in bed in a bathrobe or something, just like people just completely basically don't think about the fact that they're going in front of a court and just act as if it's just any other day and they're just like calling a friend or something. It's hilarious. Principled stand, Pedro Pascal has walked off HBO's The Last of Us after realizing it's not the kind of game that involves collecting orbs.
What happened?
Pedro Pascal has walked off HBO's The Last of Us after realizing it's not the kind of game that involves collecting orbs. And I can't hear you again. Okay, now you're back. I think it has something to do, by the way, with your audio levels are a bit less consistent than usual, and maybe if you get too quiet, Discord noise gates you. I don't know.
I don't know. But now you're hearing me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Great. I'm gonna go with The Onion. Yes, that's the made-up version.
Yes, it is The Onion. Cops, woman 39 successfully smuggled loaded firearm hidden in body cavity into Missouri jail.
That sounds real. Gonna go with not The Onion.
That is in fact not The Onion. How do you say that? Cuomo? I think. I mean, it's a last name. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of the argument. Expresses deep regret that grandma didn't have the balls to tough it out.
Is that a name that should be recognizable?
Based on the preview picture, I'm gonna guess he's a politician. I feel like I might have heard that name before, but it doesn't. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm gonna guess American politician based on the quoted statement, probably Republican.
I don't know, but that sounds made up.
That
It's
is made
probably
up,
the
yes.
Onion.
Yeah. Pfizer CEO's Israel visit cancelled because he is unvaccinated. I can't hear you. This is
What
fun.
the heck?
Okay, yeah, you're back. This, I mean, we're gonna have to fix this for next time, but for now, Sergey.
1 second.
He's gonna mess with his audio levels or something.
Yes. You should be able to hear me now.
Yes.
Better, more consistently, hopefully.
I mean, so far, but again, like, it's not like it's constantly fluctuating,
Well,
so
yeah.
it's gonna take a second to realize. Yeah.
So yeah, whose visit is cancelled or what happened?
The Pfizer CEO's Israel visit was cancelled because he is unvaccinated. I realize it is probably not that trivial to parse news headlines. I had to add 2 words there to make it more like a sentence.
Yes. Yes. I don't know, that could be real and not real.
Oh no, okay, so
plausible is what
it's not Schrodinger's headline.
Trying to say.
It cannot be real and not real. It has to be real or
why
not?
Real.
Because I'm observing it.
That's what it was with Trump, wasn't it? It could be made up, but later on he actually did it, and so it was actually real, but it was still made up.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I suppose that could happen. Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds real. I'm gonna go with not the Onion.
That is in fact not the Onion, which I find that kind of hilarious though. Like, you're the CEO of the vaccine company, and you're traveling to another country, and you aren't let in because you aren't vaccinated. COVID: Bolsonaro tells Brazilians to stop whining as deaths top 260,000. Please don't ask me who Bolsonaro is.
That is probably the Onion.
That is not the Onion.
Oh God.
NYC woman discovers empty apartment behind bathroom mirror.
Huh. Oh, probably the Onion, but I've heard stories that are similar to this. But
It's
usually
NBC
that
News.
doesn't happen in NYC.
It's NBC News, my dude. It's not the Onion. It's for real.
Okay, that does not actually surprise me that much.
Latina council members' Zoom chat about racism interrupted by people laughing over her accent.
That's gotta be not the Onion.
That is in fact not the Onion. That actually happened. Is using a minotaur to gore detainees a form of torture?
Is it what now?
Using a minotaur, half bull, half man, to gore detainees a form of torture.
Probably?
No, you're supposed to say if it's the Onion or not the Onion. You're not supposed to ask the question.
That's gotta be the Onion, man.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I feel like a lot of the Onion headlines I've seen lately are just entirely outside of the realm of reality, right? Like, minotaurs don't exist. I mean, I guess you could construct one, but Alabama woman accused of stealing neighbor's goat, dyeing it blue.
That's gotta be not the onion.
That is not the onion. Former Pope Benedict says fanatical Catholics still won't believe he's not the Pope.
Huh. Gonna go with not the onion, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was the onion.
It is in fact not the onion. And yeah, I think it's because there used to be the thing where popes wouldn't retire, and he was, I think, the first one, at the very least in modern history, who did so. And so some Catholics, I suppose, are saying like, "Oh, you've been appointed pope for life, so you're still pope." I mean, that makes sense. Rockstar owner argues players are ready for $70 games.
I don't understand what that means.
Well, they're ready. I guess they're ready to pay $70 for games.
Okay. Rockstar, as in the game company. Okay.
Yes, the game company, not the energy drink company.
Yes, for some reason, I defaulted to energy drink company.
I would suspect.
Yeah. I think they've been saying similar stuff, like not Rockstar in particular, but like game companies in general, been saying stuff like that for a while now. So, not the onion.
It says here, yes, it's not the onion, and it says here also the CEO of Take-Two has reiterated his view that the decision to charge $69.99 for NBA 2K was apparently justified, which I don't know how that relates to Rockstar. Maybe they're talking about both in the article, I don't know. I think it's enough, because, like, as I keep scrolling, it's all just not the onion. Because that subreddit gets a lot of posts because it's like any given publication that has a crazy headline. And the onion only posts so much. So
yeah.
We're gonna call it here and move to Fact of the Week. Sergey.
Oh, yes.
What is your fact of this week?
Did you know that giant squid have a donut-shaped brain?
What?
What's even more interesting is that it wraps around their like mouth opening. So if they try to swallow something too big, they can't actually risk brain damage.
How is that evolutionarily advantageous? What the fuck?
I don't know.
This is weird. Okay. Did I ever tell you about the word irregardless?
Probably not.
Do you know what the word irregardless means, so. Sergey?
It is weird. Not gonna lie. Probably the opposite of regardless.
It actually...
Just something like regarding.
It actually means regardless. Those two words weird. Are synonymous, and most dictionaries will actually define irregardless just by saying regardless. It's the same word. One just sounds fancier. That's my fact of the week.
Could have at least come up with, like, inflammable or something.
Oh, yeah, right. That's also fun. Yes, words don't always mean what you would think that they would mean.
True.
So a word might sound like it's like they're antonymous to one another, but they're actually synonymous. That brings us to the halftime show. And since the dice weren't really cooperating that well by just giving us the same thing over and over again, I decided we're gonna just not roll. So today we are playing Google Feud, and I guess for the first time we've done this in a halftime show, I think let's just do this as like a cooperative thing as opposed to a competitive one, and then if we bring it back, we can do it competitively.
Yes.
Because I don't know how much we both know about these. So
I don't know anything.
Well, okay, in that case, pick a category: culture, people, names, or questions.
How about questions?
Oh yeah, by the way, this is about how Google auto-completes search queries, in case you didn't know this. Should I quit? I assume one of them would probably be my job. I feel like that makes sense.
Probably, but also probably smoking.
Yeah, wait, do I have to hit enter? My job is the first one.
Ooh.
A nice suit? The fourth one. That's a... Oh, smoking weed, specifically. Huh. Wait, so is smoking cigarettes also gonna be one? And can I red offhand spell cigarettes correctly? I believe it's
I don't think I could.
Gareettes or something? I don't know. Should I try?
Something like that. That looks right.
Should I try that as a...
Yeah, sure.
Wrong.
Ooh.
Because we get, of course, one less guess every time we fail,
yes.
So... what else could you quit?
I don't know, this is hard.
Carbs. Wouldn't you word it like that? Should I quit carbs? That doesn't sound right.
Some people probably would. I don't know.
Because I'm kind of... Oh, how about this? Working.
Yeah.
Okay, you're still... I think your still something's cutting out a little bit, but it's definitely... Nope, that's not one of them. Should I quit? The fact that we haven't even gotten, like... Most of the top 5 ones seems kind of dubious.
Yeah.
How about... like, things that people do that might not be beneficial to them, like... Video games. Gaming, I suppose.
Yeah.
Gaming. No?
What the heck? What are people quitting?
I don't know. I suppose there might be a lot of, since you can in fact say quit and then a verb, well, I think it's a gerund to be specific, but it doesn't matter. I guess we could put a bunch of those, like the smoking was possibility, so... I don't know, is there anything else that... What do people stop doing? No Google Instagram,
probably...
that's
yeah, I know. Do people stop exercising? Yes, they do, but do they Google about it?
Nope. Oh, drinking!
My job during COVID.
Okay, the fact that just smoking is not in there, but vaping is kind of interesting. Like, smoking weed and vaping, but smoking isn't in there? Coffee? The answer, by the way, is it depends.
Yeah.
Drinking, sure. I mean, it's never a bad idea. Oh, social media! My job to focus on school. America, your school system is fucked. You should be able to go through school without having to work a job. If I don't get a raise, well, I could not have predicted that specifically. Next round. Is there a law against what could people be unsure? Oh, how about piracy?
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
sometimes, some places it's like it's not technically illegal. Some places it's like just a gray area. No.
I mean, at least a few years back, it was a gray area in Germany,
Yeah,
I think.
I think so as well. I have for that is to say, A, this is not legal advice, and B, for the people that are watching or listening or downloading or whatever, not for the people that are providing. That's pretty much illegal everywhere. Is there a law against?
Yeah, piracy.
I mean, yeah, I tried that. It's wrong.
I didn't notice.
Because I'm trying to think, right? Like, people probably wouldn't ask, like, theft, murder, right? Those are obviously illegal. People would also not ask, like, breathing, right? Because that's obviously legal. So, I mean, that's a bad example, but the problem is there's gotta be some stuff that is either actually a gray area or at the very least not, like, commonly understood. Bestiality.
In the top 10, though.
I don't know. It kind of makes you worry about humanity if it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, while I could see myself being curious about that, I'd never had the need to Google that. Granted, I feel like...
How about cannibalism?
Oh. Cannibalism. That. Spellchecker says that's not right. Let's see. Cannibalisms. How does that make sense? Oh, double N. Okay. Okay, let's try that. Number 5. That was a good
Ooh.
one. Cannibalism. Okay, yeah. Abortion? Like, some places have at least restrictions.
Maybe,
but...
yeah.
Because I mean, we have 4 guesses. 4 wrong guesses. No, wait, 3 wrong guesses. Oh, wait. Oh, no, do we have 4 guesses in total? No, that can't be right. I already made piracy was the first one, right? 4 guesses that we can get wrong plus any number of correct ones. Abortion was not on there. Or I misspelled it horribly. I think it has a bit of tolerance for that. Doesn't seem like a misspellable thing, but then again, sounds pretty bad. A lot. Well, cannibalism was a good idea, but it's only 5th. There's definitely things that people care more about or are more intrigued by.
Would people search if there is a law against weed? Or smoking weed?
That's not the letter. I meant to write twice. There we go. Not often enough. I mean, I feel like it's been I suppose locally it might be an interesting question to ask, but because it has been somewhat in the general consciousness, you would generally assume that most people are aware, like, oh, it's been legalized there. So I guess they don't search it enough. One more try. Is there a law against? Storming the Capitol.
How recent is this?
I don't know. That's what I always ask about these. But like, oh yeah, there was actually some fun stuff in Not the Onion yesterday about some of the Capitol rioters. But I think that all already trickled out. There was like one where it's like, the Q shaman guy. He's like, oh, I was just like chanting to get people to not do bad things in there, and I also protected the muffins from the break room. I prevented people from stealing those. I should be let out on bail or something. There was some hilarious headlines there. What could there be a law against? Ooh, how about child marriage? Because the answer might surprise you.
How about teen marriage?
That seems more specific, but marriage... Is that how... That's not definitely... That's how I'm going to spell it. That is how you spell it. Wow.
Yeah.
Nope. Hitting a girl. Sedition. Dude, sedition! Storming the Capitol! I'm telling you. What is the... Well,
okay.
Well, it's not storming the Capitol. I think sedition technically refers to trying to create an independent nation. But, from, seceding from a union or something. Bullying, discrimination, driving barefoot. That's actually kind of interesting. Cyberbullying, monopolies, insurrection. That one is definitely about the Capitol riots. I mean, I'm pretty sure sedition and insurrection are both about that. And price gouging, because people are scalping graphics cards.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're disappointingly bad at this, but we have one more round in the questions category, and then I think we'll maybe do one more category, or actually, that's already been going for a while, maybe not. Why do people
sleep?
Did you say sleep? I didn't sleep.
Yes.
Sleep. Okay, how about exist?
What?
How about exist?
Let's try that.
Oh.
What?
Okay, so is this more of a people are actually curious about the biological processes of humans and I suppose Mike is evolution? Or is it more like, oh, why do people hate other people? Like more like the philosophical sort of, well, I guess psychological in some way as well, but like why do people smoke, why do people drink sort of a thing maybe?
Both.
Okay, which one are we gonna... That doesn't... just guess both, and if they're both wrong, we're just done.
Yeah.
Yawn, snore, get hiccups. Oh, lie is an interesting one. That's something that I could have imagined. Talk in their sleep, cheat, sleepwalk, say bless you, hate Nickelback! Oh my god. Like, I can see why people would Google that. I'm just surprised that so many people Google that. And tutter. Okay, yawn,
but sleep is not on there? Come on.
Yawn
is,
snore,
but sleep not.
Lie and maybe cheat I can get behind. Sleepwalk, sure. But like, it seems kind of like people are asking... Huh. Oh, I suppose people are asking the sort of questions that could reasonably have a simple answer, right? Like, sort of, like, why do we exist is probably a bit too existential for, like, everyday situations. Why do we sleep? Might have been one that I could have seen on there, though. Talk in their sleep is on there, but sleep isn't. Sleepwalk is on there, but sleep isn't. I think people just accept that we sleep.
I guess.
Oh yeah, I think, I mean, yawning is kind of a normal thing, but, like, you don't do it all the time. Snoring, not everyone does. Sleepwalking, not everyone does, right? Lie, everyone does, but not everyone realizes that they do. Like, stutter, not everyone. I feel like there's a lot of things in there that only some people do. I think that's the key to this. Probably. And I think since this took a while, as I said, we're gonna... Topic 2. Ripping atoms apart.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Completely forgot, to be honest.
Yeah, I had to think for a second as well, but...
I should probably sit up straight again. Yeah.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk about when that thing where we have neutrons hit atoms and then they split apart and they send up more neutrons that hit atoms? Is that how that works?
Yeah, something like that.
There's gamma radiation mostly, and there's I think there might be some alpha and beta as well. Um,
Both of them. Like, all three of them, actually.
yeah. But wasn't there... Do they appear at the same rate? I mean, that's not the question, is it? But gamma radiation, in a way, is the most dangerous. Actually, maybe beta. But because alpha radiation can't pierce your skin, so it's really hard to actually get problems with that. Gamma radiation is...
Really?
Okay, so...
Wait.
So alpha radiation has the shortest wavelength of the bunch, gamma has the longest, and beta's in between. The shorter the wavelength, the more damaging it is, in theory.
Isn't it not about wavelength? Isn't it about this being different particles? Like, isn't alpha like actually ions?
Well, Sergey, I'll have you know that particles are also waves. It's called the particle-wave duality and was first discovered in the double-slit experiment. I mean, I'm not wrong. At least about the particle-wave duality. I might be wrong about the other stuff. But I think there was a thing where, like, the alpha is the most energetic, so it is possibly the most dangerous, but it also can't pierce your skin, generally speaking, or like clothing protects you and stuff like. It's just normal circumstances. You're not going to get hit by alpha waves and actually get them inside your body, so they're probably not going to do much damage. Gamma waves.
Let me just Google that.
Gamma waves travel the furthest and have the highest likelihood of actually affecting you, but the effect is also the weakest, which is why we're resistant to a certain amount of it. And I think beta might be in like some sort of sweet spot. Also, this is stuff that I remember from a physics class that I had in school, in like, I want to say 11th grade, so like 6 years ago. So
alpha radiation is 2 protons and 2 neutrons.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like.
Are you saying it's a helium
stuff.
nucleus?
Basically, yes. Helium-4 nucleus.
Because I'm pretty sure that the regular helium... what's the word I'm looking for? Version that we have is like... It has 2 neutrons as well, and of course 2 protons makes it helium. What is the word I'm looking for? So okay, what do we call the same atom with different amounts of neutrons? What do we call those? I forget the word.
Isotope?
Yes, thank you. Isotope. That's the word I was looking for. I think the most common helium isotope, if there is even multiple that naturally occur, I don't know, is the one with 2 neutrons, or I suppose an atomic mass of 4.
Yes. Well, roughly 4.
Yeah, because a proton also doesn't exactly have a mass of 1, because whenever they determine that
I don't know.
I think it was like 3.98 or something when you actually look it up on the periodic table, but it's close. Don't tell me you're currently looking up the atomic mass of helium.
No. I'm looking up radioactive decay.
Fair enough. I don't think that's what we wanted to originally talk about, but I guess let's talk about radioactive decay.
No, really.
Okay, this is my bad for derailing this, but also this is so kind of on topic. Oh yeah, by the way, speaking of nuclear power, the reason why I know that helium has 2 neutrons is because of nuclear fusion. Because you generally use deuterium and, what is it called, tritium? Which are the hydrogen isotopes with 2 and 3 protons, neutrons respectively. Wait, is it? Yeah, no, and then...
Yes, deuterium is 2.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to figure out if helium actually has... Now I'm Googling helium. Well, I'm Wikipediaing helium. But, let's see, atomic mass... Where does it actually say atomic mass, dude?
Chemistry and physics. Nice.
Density? No. Melting point, boiling point, molar heat? No, dude. Molar mass, dude. Where the fuck is... Or like grams per mole, or like... Standard atomic, 4.002. So I was correct. Because I have the image in my head when they push them together and like the neutrons fly off, but I somehow then was doubting myself about the actual number. Anyhow, that's helium. Named after the god of the sun, Helios, which I could have guessed myself, but it says it in the Wikipedia article, so I'm going to now close the Wikipedia article of helium because otherwise I'll get distracted.
True. Should probably do that too.
I guess the question we wanted to be asking would have been, like, pros and cons of nuclear power, I suppose. Did we have notes? Oh yeah, right. Should we?
I don't think we did.
No, we have 2 bullet points. One says should we, and the other one says alternatives.
Oh, right. That's preparation.
I mean, the second one also in parentheses says e.g. fusion, but because I believe I called the topic nuclear fission specifically, but I digress.
Yes. Okay. So, should we?
The main problem.
What are the pros and cons?
Okay. That's actually a good way to start. So the pros, I think, in part depend on what you're comparing it to, but I would generally say pros high energy output.
Yeah. I'd also go as far to say cleaner.
I was about to say, that's depending on what you, like, if you compare it to, like, solar or wind, no. If you compare it to fossil fuels, yes. It's cleaner than fossil fuels, but you do have a byproduct, a waste product, if you will, that is radioactive, which is not great.
So, another pro, I think, would be that it is, like, on average, statistically, much safer than actually burning coal and oil and gas and all of that kind of stuff. But if something bad happens, it's really bad.
Yeah, but, I mean, you could take really clever measures like not building a reactor on a fault line. Japan? Just common sense things.
Yeah.
Fuck. Who thought that was a good idea?
True. Very good question.
We've had 2 like really big nuclear disasters in terms of reactor meltdowns. I don't remember the exact story about Chernobyl, but Fukushima was built on a fault line. That was just not a good idea.
Japan just says it's a thing with nuclear fission. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, considering how long we've done that we've only had like 2 like major incidents. I'm sure there's been some other minor problems, but nothing that would have like made entire cities uninhabitable. So considering that we only had 2 major issues, and at least one of them I can like trace back to an obvious flaw in the design that, in my opinion, was foreseeable. I feel like that is speaking to its safety, right? Like,
yeah.
As you said, like, it's a scope, right? Like, we don't have any ideas of like major issues with like traditional combustion based on fossil fuels that like are like hugely talked about, because it's usually like individual people dying or like small groups and not really entire cities.
Yeah. Also, it just happens over time. It's like just through pollution.
Oh yeah, that amount of damage, that type of damage as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though again, then I would also point you towards the fact that we don't really have a good way to deal with the radioactive byproducts of nuclear fission.
True.
And then they just put them in a cave somewhere, and then it goes into the groundwater, and that's a problem, which that's not just a random example, that has happened. So, and people have suggested shooting it into the sun, but it does cost too much energy. It's not plausible.
Yeah. The sun is like the hardest place to get in the solar system.
But to be fair, as long as we could get it outside of orbit, I suppose, like outside of the planetary gravitation field, it would be sufficient. But also, shooting radioactive rocks into space is still kind of weird. And again, takes a lot of energy still.
Yeah.
And probably don't shoot it at the moon, because who knows what would happen depending on the size of the rock. I just imagine we
I guess.
we like shoot a giant rock of like of radioactive waste at the moon and like just knock it out of orbit.
Don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I hope because that's not gonna happen because we're not gonna shoot radioactive waste at the moon. That would be an idea.
No, just because the moon had like quite a bit of mass behind it.
I mean, if you packed up all the radioactive waste and then actually propelled it with enough energy to leave the Earth's gravitational field, it might also have quite the punch.
Yeah, it will at that point probably just goes straight through the moon instead.
Oh. I mean, that's probably not great either. I mean, even if it didn't knock it fully out of orbit, even if it changed orbit, it would say, I don't know why we're talking lunar orbits all of a sudden. The point is, both fossil fuels and nuclear fission creates byproducts that are hard to deal with. Which is why I suggest, as an alternative, nuclear fusion, which creates a byproduct that we have a shrinking supply of. We're running out of helium. Like, this is legitimately a problem. Like, in a couple of years, I think it might have been in a couple of decades, we're gonna run out of helium. And there's things for which we need helium. Not just balloons, but like actual practical purposes as well. Though, some type of balloons also. Like weather balloons are also important. So, it would actually be really nice if we had a clean energy production method that just so happens to produce helium out of the single most abundant element in the universe. That being hydrogen.
Yep.
Which we can just get out of seawater. Which takes electrolysis, which takes a bit of energy as well, but we have seawater isn't very usable anyways for us, and we have a lot of it. And if we take seawater out of the sea, guess what that does? It lowers the sea levels. Eh? I mean, okay, I'm not sure if we have so much water that I don't think that would be a noticeable effect, but I just like the idea that, in theory, if we use nuclear fusion to power our entire energy grid, we lower the sea levels, and we create a helium, which is a limited resource for us. This seems too good to be true.
I mean, it is, currently, at least, because nuclear fusion still requires more energy to run or to operate than it actually produces.
Yes, but there's been a lot of great advancements made just within the last decade. And they're getting incredibly close to the break-even point.
But also, to be fair, they've been getting really, really close, like for a few decades now.
What was it? Nuclear fusion has been 50 years away for 50 years now? Is that the quote that I've heard being said?
No, it was like 10 to 20 years away for 50 years now.
Oh, or that.
It's more the version I heard.
But the point is, we always think we're getting really close and then we're not. But also, it seems like we're getting really close.
I know. It's great. But, like, as for now, like, especially with the current issues on planet Earth that are happening, feel like nuclear fusion, fission, not fusion.
Yes.
Would be like a good way to bridge.
Yeah.
A bit.
I think right now climate change is a far more pressing issue than nuclear waste. Ergo, we should prefer to use a bunch of nuclear power over fossil fuels. Also, we're running out of fossil fuels faster, I think, at currently than we're running out of radioactive materials for fusion. Now, granted, we're also going to run out of uranium and plutonium and the like, so it's not an indefinite energy source either. But and also, I actually just had a weird idea. This might be a bit of a dumb idea, but what if we just put all of our radioactive waste in one place that's already somewhat irradiated? Or, like, uninhabitable for other reasons. I guess that's transportation costs.
Yeah.
But it seems far more plausible. Instead of just having, like, deposits all over, right? Like, to have it at least somewhat centralized, so that the risk of something happening is minimized. I don't know. Again, I don't know about transportation costs. There's probably a reason why that's not done. Also, probably because international coordination.
What can nuclear waste still do?
I mean, again, it's radioactive.
Does it have a critical mass or something? I don't know.
I
don't about that kind of stuff.
No, it's not reactive. I don't think it. I
mean, it gotta be reactive because it's radiating.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it is reactive that way, but I don't think it's I don't think so, but I mean, even if there were, I'm not saying keep it all in one big pile. I'm just saying keep all the small piles in one place. I don't know. Put it in the Antarctic. People aren't allowed to go there anyways. It's also cold there, so it's less likely to explode.
There's a lot of water there, though.
Right.
Not that great of an idea, gotta say.
Okay, listen, this is a work in progress. I was gonna say put it in Chernobyl, but by now the radiation levels there are actually pretty far down already, so that's just irradiating a place. And it's also somewhat close to civilization, so it's not great.
I mean, you can actually just go to Chernobyl. It's not active above.
Yeah, that's why I said.
I think
that's why I said you shouldn't actually dump all of our radioactive trash there, because that's just going to make it worse again. It's actually getting better. I mean, also there's re-enrichment.
A lot better.
Of nuclear waste to turn it back into nuclear fuel, which is generally something I would recommend doing with at least the outputs where it's possible to do so, without actually costing additional energy, which of course is the idea. So there's some stuff there, but yeah, I think nuclear. I've always been a big proponent of nuclear power because I feel like people dramatize it way too much, right? Oh my god, have you heard about this this place where it just blew up, and it's yeah, 2 reactors have blown up. Do you know how many we have? Do you know how long we've been using them? And do you know how stupid?
I mean, it's the same thing with planes and cars.
Planes are safer, but they do also produce more emissions. So I don't know if they produce more emissions per passenger, but
I'm more talking about the safety aspect of it. More than
exactly
actually.
So the safety is one thing, and then the other thing is that people always complain about, as I just did, about the waste products. But to which I would respond that fossil fuels are more imminently bad, as you said. So I've always said that, yes, there's downsides to nuclear power, but there's more downsides to other types of power besides, again, solar, wind, sure, hydraulic, no, it's hydroelectric, right? Anyways, the point is, dams are also pretty solid. But I don't think we've gotten very much better at those. I think also there was something interesting that I've heard recently where what was it? We produce all of our power by turning things except for solar, because nuclear still is based off steam turbines oftentimes and stuff. So
yeah, true.
The main human way of producing energy is just spinning things like dams, windmills, steam turbines, doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, speaking of, I know nuclear reactors look very scary, right? They look like they're really polluting the atmosphere. That's steam. It's water.
Yep.
It's harmless. I guess it might not be steam, it might be vapor, but the point is it's water.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's okay. We want that to happen. That's how we produce energy.
Also, that's just the cooling tower.
Yes. I mean, which, by the way, that's why the steam escapes, because they're cooling it down by heating up water, because that's how heat works, it transfers.
Yeah.
Something, thermodynamics, closed systems, energy, something. I mean, it's not a closed system, which is why heat escapes. We talked about the first law of thermodynamics recently, but I think it might have been off the air.
It was off the air.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
It was yesterday.
So, do you have anything to add to nuclear power?
Like, one thing that I've kind of heard recently, and also, recently, I mean, like, in the last couple months, maybe more than a couple months, is instead of using uranium,
Yes.
I think it was thorium, wasn't it? Not sure, it was too long ago.
Possible. Thorium, yeah, I've heard of thorium. I think it's radioactive, yeah, or at least some of its isotopes are.
Yeah, it was thorium. It is radioactive and apparently allows to create fail-safe mechanisms for if like the cooling system just breaks, that it just automatically on its own without like intervention just powers off.
Oh yeah, by the way, I don't think we actually mentioned that, but nuclear fission is self-sustaining because again, as I kind of mentioned it, right? Like it shoots out neutrons and that increases that like connects with another atom that increases the mass to a critical point. It splits, and that shoots out more neutrons. So it is self-sustaining, and in theory, it's exponential, which is how nukes work. Which is why we try to control that and make it not be exponential. If a meltdown happens, it becomes exponential, and that's why we try to avoid that.
Yes. Also, fun fact: only like less than 1% of a nuke's nuclear mass actually explodes. Because it just happens so fast. It just doesn't have time to reach the 99% of the other stuff.
I think you still need a lot of the mass, though, for it to actually go exponential in the first place, right? Because a so-called critical mass, as you alluded to earlier.
Yes.
And by the way, the critical mass is not like a concentration or something. It's literally an actual mass, like a weight. Like that's one thing that surprised me when I first heard about it. Like, you know, because a lot of things in science are about like ratios and like things can be scaled up and down and such. Like, no. Critical mass is an actual physical mass.
Can you just like compress it when it also like reach critical mass or something?
Possible, but that would definitely take a lot of additional energy to like compress material actively.
Well, yes.
It might be possible, but generally speaking, when we talk about critical mass, we talk about an actual mass. Does pressure increase mass? Also, is it actually mass or weight? Because that's going to affect whether or not the critical mass differs from planet to planet, but that's a whole separate issue.
Also, if it's dependent on shape.
I would think it might be a little bit, but we're getting into territory where I honestly don't know the answers, and it's probably not that fast to look it up. But I was just going to make the point that critical mass actually refers to a mass, which I thought, at the time when I first learned that, to be actually fascinating, because that seems so that happens almost nowhere else, right?
Yep. True.
So, if that was everything, I would ask you...
I think it was.
What your song of the week is.
Oh, shit. 1 second. I kind of low-key forgot about that part.
It's not like I mentioned it right before we started recording.
1 second.
This is how prepared we are.
Gonna get it.
Well, I suppose this is also how prepared Sergey is.
It's not been a good week in regards to planning and being prepared.
I mean, that happens. I mean, I'm just making fun of it for like entertainment's sake. I don't have a huge problem with this.
Okay, I've got a song.
He has a song. Wouldn't you know it?
Yes.
What's your song?
Actually a song that I discovered like only a couple days ago, but
Okay.
kind of like. It's also from a band that I've never heard of before.
Okay.
So the band name, I think that is Ottawa Yo, and the song name is Sumietskaya. Gotta send you the link later.
Yeah. So that all sounded very Russian. That's all I can say about that.
Yes.
I guess I should have said it sounds Slavic, but I would have assumed it's Russian because A, you're Russian, and B, it is probably the most commonly spoken Slavic language, I would assume by a long shot.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Because Russia big. If you didn't know, people, Russia
not only
big.
Russia, like Soviet Union, even bigger.
Yeah, but don't a lot of former Soviet countries actually have their own languages?
Well, yes, but the Russian was like a lingua franca.
Fair enough.
In that whole region.
Yeah.
And it was actually being taught in school. So yeah.
Fair, it makes sense. My song of the week is one that I discovered not recently, but that I've probably heard first when I played it on the radio 11 years ago. And I was recently going through some songs that I knew from that time, and I'm not 100% sure how much I love the song, but I like it. So I'm gonna pick it, and the song is called Je veux, and it's by Zaz. It's Z-A-Z. I don't know if that's supposed to be pronounced as a word.
Je veux de l'amour, de la joie, de la bonne humeur. Ce n'est pas votre argent qui fera mon bonheur. Moi je veux crever la main sur le cœur. Allons ensemble découvrir ma liberté. Oubliez donc tous vos clichés. Bienvenue dans ma réalité.
And yeah, that is my song of this week. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about stuff. I mean, people leave comments. I feel like you know how this works. Sergey.
But didn't even mention the Discord server.
Oh, join the Discord server, link in the description below, check out the main channel, stuff. Sergey.
That's it.
That's it.